Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about modern coins, the 2021 United States $quarter, Crossing the Delaware. Now, at first glance, this quarter might look like just another shiny coin you get in change, but believe me, it carries historical weight, powerful symbolism, and even some hidden value. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone new to coin collecting, this is one coin you'll want to hear about. Let's go back in time for a moment, not to 2021, but to December 25, 1776, the night General George Washington led his troops across the icy Delaware River. This daring move changed the course of the Revolutionary War, and that moment is now forever captured on this bold and patriotic coin. The obverse of this quarter features the classic portrait of Washington designed by John Flanagan, slightly updated with sharper detail. Flip it over, and the reverse side steals the show. Washington is standing at the bow of a boat, sword drawn, facing the storm with courage and determination. This design was introduced after the America the Beautiful series ended and before the American Women quarters began, making it a one-year-only design. That's right, 2021 was the only year this specific quarter was made, which already adds to its collectability. Now here's where things get exciting: not all of these quarters are created equal. While hundreds of millions were minted for circulation, some have errors and varieties that make them rare and valuable. One of the most popular errors found on this coin is the die chip error, especially one that appears like a snowball or blob on Washington's hat. Some even look like a raised bump on his hand. These chips are small pieces of broken die that leave behind extra metal on the coin. Collectors love these because each one is unique. There are also struck-through errors, where a piece of debris or grease gets between the die and the coin planchet, creating a blurry or missing part of the design. These errors are unusual and can command a premium depending on how dramatic they are. Don't forget off-center strikes, where the coin isn't perfectly aligned during minting. A quarter that's 10 to 50% off-center, especially if you can still see the date, can be worth much more than face value. There's even talk in the community about potential double die varieties, though these need expert verification. Aside from errors, condition matters a lot. A regular quarter from 2021 that's been in circulation isn't going to make you rich. But if you have a mint state coin, one that's shiny, flawless, and graded MS 67 or higher, you're holding a collectible piece that could fetch real money. Also, the San Francisco Mint struck special proof versions of this coin, made only for collectors. These quarters feature mirror-like finishes and sharp, frosted designs. A perfect PR 70 deep cameo proof is rare and highly desirable. Now, let's talk real market prices. A regular 2021 Crossing the Delaware quarter from circulation is still worth 25 cents. But one with a visible die chip can sell for $5 to $20 depending on size and placement. A strong struck-through error or off-center strike can bring in $50 to $100 or more. High-grade MS 67 or MS 68 coins have sold at auction for up to $75, while a flawless PR 70 proof quarter from San Francisco can go for over $100. So don't overlook this powerful piece of modern history. Whether it's the historical design, a rare minting error, or a perfect proof strike, the 2021 Crossing the Delaware quarter is far more than just pocket change. It's a coin that bridges the past with the present, and for the lucky collector, maybe even profit. Top 2, we're turning back the clock to 1979, a year of disco, space shuttles, and quarters. Yes, we're talking about the 1979 United States $quarter, a coin that many people overlook, yet some versions are quietly gaining attention among collectors. You might even have one of these in your pocket or coin jar right now, so listen carefully, because this could be more than just spare change. Let's begin with the basics. The 1979 quarter features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, originally designed by John Flanagan. The reverse shows a fierce bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, ready for action, a design used from 1932 until 1998. While it's a common sight to us now, this coin represents over 40 years of American coinage history. But here's the big question: with hundreds of millions minted that year, what makes the 1979 quarter special? Why are collectors still looking for this coin? The answer lies in a mix of rare minting errors, unusual varieties, and high-grade conditions that are not easy to find. The 1979 quarter was produced at 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia, No mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark for proof coins. The Philadelphia mint alone struck over 500 million of these coins. So yes, most 1979 quarters are very common. But not all of them. Some rare and valuable 1979 quarters feature minting errors that occurred during production. One such error is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned and part of the coin is blank. The more off-center the strike, especially if the date is still visible, the more valuable it becomes. Another sought-after error is the double die. While less common for the 1979 quarter, some collectors report light doubling on the letters "In Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If verified, a double die variety can increase the coin's value significantly. Then we have the clipped planchet error. This happens when the blank metal used to make the coin is improperly cut, leaving a curved chunk missing. These are eye-catching and easy to spot, making them favorites among error collectors. And don't overlook the die break or cut errors, where part of the die cracks, creating raised blobs or marks on the coin. Some 1979 quarters show these features near the rim or around Washington's face or the eagle's wings. Another category collectors chase is proof coins, especially those from the San Francisco Mint. In 1979, San Francisco struck over 3 million proof quarters, which were only sold in special collector sets. These coins are not meant for circulation and feature deep mirror-like surfaces with sharp, frosted details. If you find one outside a proof set, it's definitely worth a closer look. But here's a twist: some 1979 proof coins come with two distinct mint mark styles: Type 1, which has a filled or blob-like S, and the rarer Type 2, which has a clearer, sharper S. Type 2 is far more desirable and valuable among collectors, especially in pristine condition. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A worn 1979 quarter might still just be pocket change, but if you have one that's never been circulated, showing no scratches, dullness, or wear, and has full original luster, it could be worth much more. Coins graded MS 65 and above, mint state, command higher prices in the market. A perfectly preserved quarter is much harder to find than you'd think, especially from 1979.so. What are these coins really worth today? Let's break it down. A regular 1979 quarter in circulated condition is still worth face value, 25 cents. However, a 1979 quarter with an off-center strike can sell for $25 to $75, depending on how dramatic the error is. A clipped planchet example might bring in $30 to $100, and a confirmed double die could go for $50 to $150. Mint state coins graded MS 67 or higher have sold at auction for up to $200, especially those with brilliant red luster and flawless surfaces. As for the 1979 Type 2 proof quarter, in PR 70 deep cameo, it has reached values of $400 or more in recent sales. So don't underestimate that 1979 quarter. It may be common, but with the right error, mint mark, or condition, it could be a tiny treasure hiding in plain sight. Top 3, we're taking a closer look at a classic piece of American change that might be hiding in plain sight: the 1977 United States quarter dollar. It's one of those coins you've probably handled hundreds of times without thinking twice. But what if I told you that certain 1977 quarters can be worth way more than 25 cents? You heard that right. Some versions of this coin have rare features, minting errors, and collector value that could make them worth real money. So stick around, because you might just have a valuable coin sitting in your pocket right now. Let's start with a little background. The 1977 quarter features the familiar design we all know and love: George Washington's portrait on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan, and the eagle on a bundle of arrows on the reverse. This was the standard quarter design from 1932 all the way until the State Quarter series began in 1999. While the design didn't change much, Some things about the 1977 quarter make it stand out in the world of coin collecting. In 1977, the U.S. Mint struck quarters at two major facilities for circulation: the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, marked with a small d on the front of the coin. That year, Philadelphia minted over 468 million, and Denver produced over 256 million quarters. So yes, these coins are common, but that doesn't mean they're all the same. What really gets collectors excited are the errors and varieties that occurred during the minting process. These are the hidden gems that make a basic 25-cent coin potentially worth much more. One of the most eye-catching errors on 1977 quarters is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't perfectly aligned during minting, and part of the design is missing or shifted. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date is still visible. Another sought-after error is the clipped planchet, where part of the metal blank is literally clipped before being struck. These result in coins that have a curved or notched edge, and collectors love them for how unique they are. There's also the double die variety, where parts of the design, such as the letters in Liberty or the motto, "In God We Trust," appear doubled. While these aren't confirmed to be widespread on the 1977 quarter, any unusual doubling should be examined carefully. If it's real, it can add significant value. Another popular error is the struck-through error, where something like grease or debris gets in the way during the striking process. This can leave behind unusual marks, missing details, or distorted features on the coin. Even if your coin doesn't have an error, it can still be valuable based on condition alone. A circulated 1977 quarter is worth face value, but if you have one in mint state condition, meaning it has never been used, still has its full luster, and shows no major scratches or wear, it can be worth much more to collectors. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and quarters that grade MS 65, MS 66, or higher are considered high-end collectibles. These coins are especially hard to find from the 1970s because most were used in daily commerce for years. So, what is your 1977 quarter really worth today? Let's break down the real market and auction prices. A regular 1977 quarter in circulated condition is still worth 25 cents. However, a quarter with an off-center error can be worth $50 to $100 or more, depending on how far off the strike is. A clear and dramatic clipped planchet error might sell for $30 to $80. If you're lucky enough to find a double die variety, it could be worth up to $150, depending on the severity and grade. Now for mint state coins, a 1977 quarter graded MS 66 can sell for around $60 to $100, and a top grade MS 67 example has reached over $200 at auction. These coins must be certified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to reach their full value in the collector market. So next time you're going through your spare change, don't skip past those older quarters. That 1977 coin might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Whether it's a mint error, a rare high-grade example, or a coin with a unique flaw, it could be worth more than you ever expected. If you found this video helpful and want more coin secrets, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a valuable find. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Top 4, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American currency, the 1984 United States quarter dollar. This seemingly ordinary coin has some hidden stories and features that make it a standout for collectors. If you think a 1984 quarter is just a simple 25-cent piece, think again. Stick around, because this video will reveal why this coin is more intriguing than you might expect, and how some rare varieties and errors could turn your pocket change into a valuable treasure. The 1984 quarter carries the classic design featuring George Washington's profile on the front, a design created by John Flanagan and used since 1932. On the back, you'll find the iconic bald eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing both strength and peace. This design was a mainstay until the state quarters program began in 1999, which means the 1984 quarter is part of a rich legacy in American numismatics. The 1984 quarters were minted primarily at two locations: Philadelphia, with no mint mark, and Denver, marked with a small d. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 450 million coins that year, while Denver's output was roughly 350 million. So clearly, these coins are everywhere, but the value isn't just about how many were made, it's about which ones stand out due to unique characteristics, errors, or condition. One of the first things collectors look for in 1984 quarters is minting errors, and there are a few noteworthy types from this year. One of the most fascinating is the double die error, which shows slight doubling on letters or numbers, especially on the inscriptions, Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, 1984. These doubling effects are the result of the die impressing the design twice but slightly misaligned, creating a shadow or doubled image. If you find a quarter with a clear double die, it can be worth much more than face value. Another error that can increase the value of your 1984 quarter is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blanks aren't perfectly centered during striking, causing part of the design to be cut off or missing. The more off-center the strike, the more dramatic and valuable the error. Coins with a visible date and significant off-centering can fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. Then we have the clipped planchet error, where the coin is struck on a blank that's missing a small piece, creating a distinctive curved or irregular edge. These errors are highly prized because they are easy to spot and very rare. Another error that collectors often seek is the die crack or cud, which happens when the die used to strike the coin breaks or wears down. This can result in raised lines or blobs on the coin, usually near the rim or lettering. Though subtle, these details can greatly enhance a coin's desirability. Besides errors, the condition of your 1984 quarter plays a huge role in its value. Most quarters in circulation have some wear and tear, but coins that are in uncirculated condition, meaning they have never been used and still retain their original mint luster, are far more valuable. Collectors use grading scales from 1 to 70, with coins graded MS 65 or higher, mint state, being especially prized. Proof coins from 1984, minted in San Francisco, with an S mint mark, are another interesting group. These coins were specially made for collectors and not intended for circulation. Proof quarters have a mirror-like finish and sharp details. If you own a 1984 proof quarter in excellent condition, it can be more valuable than a standard circulation coin. So, you're probably wondering, what are these coins actually worth in today's market? Here's the breakdown. A regular circulated 1984 quarter is still worth just face value, 25 cents. But if you find a quarter with a double die error, prices can range from $20 to $100, depending on the clarity and severity of the doubling. An off-center strike quarter can be worth between $50 and $300, based on how off-center the coin is and the coin's overall condition. A clipped planchet error from 1984 typically fetches around $50 to $150 at auctions. For coins in mint state condition, graded MS 65 and above, the value rises considerably. An MS 65 1984 quarter can command prices between $25 and $75, while a higher MS 67 or better can bring in upwards of $100 or more. As for 1984 proof quarters, especially those graded PR 69 or PR 70 deep cameo, prices at auction can reach $100 to $200, particularly if they have sharp, frosted details and no imperfections. So the next time you're sorting through your change, take a moment to inspect those quarters from 1984 closely. Whether you find a mint error or a coin in brilliant uncirculated condition, you could be holding a small fortune. Top 5, and last rare coin, we're shining the spotlight on a classic piece of American currency, the 1985 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, it might seem like just another everyday coin, but trust me, there's more to this little 25-cent piece than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about the value of coins you might have lying around, you'll want to pay close attention. The 1985 quarter holds a fascinating place in numismatics, with certain rare errors and varieties that make it highly desirable, and potentially quite valuable. The 1985 quarter features the timeless design of George Washington on the obverse, created by John Flanagan back in 1932. On the reverse, you'll find the traditional bald eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, a powerful symbol of America's strength and peace. This design was standard until the state quarters program kicked off in 1999, so the 1985 quarter belongs to that important era of classic U.S. coinage. During 1985, quarters were minted mainly at two locations: Philadelphia, which doesn't carry a mint mark, and Denver, marked with a small d. The Philadelphia Mint struck around 370 million quarters, while the Denver Mint produced roughly 540 million. That's a huge number, meaning these coins were widely circulated and can be found almost anywhere. But even with such large mintages, some 1985 quarters stand apart due to unique characteristics and minting quirks that collectors treasure. Let's talk about the errors that can instantly boost the value of a 1985 quarter. One of the most fascinating and sought after is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice, slightly misaligned, which causes certain parts of the coin, like the letters in Liberty, the words, "In God We Trust," or even the date, 1985, to appear doubled or blurred. These errors are relatively rare, but when found, they make the coin far more valuable. A clear and bold double die on a 1985 quarter can be a true gem for collectors. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly centered during the minting process, resulting in part of the design being cut off. Off-center strikes are prized by collectors, and the value increases with how much of the design is missing or shifted. A minor off-center strike might only add modest value, but a dramatic one can push prices into the hundreds. Then there's the clipped planchet error, a particularly striking mistake where the coin is struck on a blank planchet that was improperly cut, leaving a distinctive curved or flat clip on the edge. These clipped coins are rare and highly collectible, making them a hot find for any coin enthusiast. Another interesting error that sometimes pops up is a die crack or cud, where a cracked or broken die leaves raised lines or blobs on the coin. Though subtle, these errors catch the eyes of collectors looking for something unique. Beyond errors, condition is king in the coin world. While most 1985 quarters you'll find have seen plenty of circulation, coins in pristine, mint state condition are much rarer. Graded on a scale from 1 to 70, coins rated MS 65 or higher are especially sought after. These coins retain their original luster and sharp details, making them highly desirable for collectors and commanding premium prices. Proof versions of the 1985 quarter, minted in San Francisco with an S mint mark, were produced specifically for collectors. These coins feature a mirror-like finish and crisp details. If you have a 1985 proof quarter in excellent condition, it's definitely worth checking out, as proof coins typically command higher prices than their circulated counterparts. So, how much is a 1985 quarter really worth? For a standard circulated quarter from 1985, it's still worth face value, 25 cents. But if you discover a double die error, you could be looking at a coin worth $20 to $100 or more depending on the quality and prominence of the doubling. An off-center strike coin can sell anywhere from $50 up to $300 at auction depending on the severity and condition. Clipped planchets from 1985 are rarer and often fetch between $40 and $150. Mint state quarters, graded MS 65 or better, can command anywhere from $25 to $100, while coins graded even higher, such as MS 67 or above, can bring $200 or more. For proof coins in top condition, especially those graded PR 69 or PR 70 deep cameo, prices range from $100 to $250 at auction, depending on how flawless and visually striking the coin is. The takeaway here? That everyday quarter from 1985 might be more than just pocket change. Whether it has a rare error, a flawless mint state finish, or a beautiful proof strike, it could be a treasure worth exploring. If this video helped you learn something new about your coins or sparked your interest in collecting, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more coin insights and hidden gem discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!